And speaking of utilizing peacekeeping as a last resort, just last week the Secretary General released a report on Mali, and essentially stated that though, the UN agrees that action might be necessary, that the report raised several questions about the African Union ECOWAS military plan to go into Mali. And I was wondering, in your mind, what are the central concerns that the AU and ECOWAS need to address before the international community and the UN is willing to authorize an operation there?
Well, as I said before, also in Mali, also the peacekeeping mission or a peace enforcement mission or a military operation or intervention should also be the last resort, and political dialogue should be privileged in many ways, but also the credibility, the possibility of having a peacekeeping mission or a military operation in Mali has already produced good results, because this has convinced some of the groups, not all of them unfortunately yet, but some of the groups in northern Mali and the Sahel, the threat of a military operation has brought them to the table of negotiations, and they're talking now because they know that if they don't, I mean, this military operation will go after them. So they're trying to have some kind of a dialogue and talking. So the threat of a military operation is already a tool in the mediation effort. But in order also to have this military action and presence in northern Mali as an effective one, ECOWAS and the African Union have to provide an improvement and more clarity on the concept of operations. For example, on command and control, on the equipment, on the training, on the capacities of the troops that will be participating in this effort, on the financing of this operation. So there's still several questions that have not been answered, and the Secretary General in his report to the Security Council requested the Council to seek those answers before authorizing a final operation as has been requested by the African Union and by ECOWAS. Always recognizing that any military operation, I mean, is just a small part of a larger, broader political action in that region.
Great. And you mentioned hotspots earlier on in the interview, and I want to bring our attention to Syria, and you've spent a lot of time in the region recently. And I was wondering, currently there's no peacekeeping presence of any sort in Syria. And, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of political will amongst member states to deploy a mission. But I was wondering if, things change on the ground a little bit and there is some political will, what kind of options does the UN have in terms of what kind of options, what a peacekeeping, what kind of options does your office have given the realities on the ground? If the current level of violence continues, what are really the options that you have if there is political will in the international community?
Well, the political will should be translated into a ceasefire, into a political agreement, and then the United Nations would be able to deploy a peacekeeping mission, a monitoring mission, an observer mission, to really observe and monitor a ceasefire. We are preparing different contingency plans. We don't know what the future holds for Syria. What we know, it's going to take a long time. It's going to be very difficult before they reach an agreement. I personally don't see any possibilities of political agreements or ceasefires in the near future. But then we have to be ready at any point, at any time to deploy, hoping that there's going to be some space for a political agreement and for deployment of a observer mission. It could be all over the country, all over Syria. Could be by provinces, by towns. We could have regional or very local ceasefires that would need it to be monitored. There could be the other possibility. People are talking about the partition of Syria also among following ethnic and religious lines, the rebels could establish some free zones in some areas near the border with Turkey or with Jordan or with Lebanon. So all these things have to be looked at. And we are already in touch with the Secretariat. We're in touch with troop contributing countries, and which we have identified that could be willing to provide troops for a security force or military observers to monitor a ceasefire and the implementation of a political agreement.
Okay, thank you. And switching a little bit again to another country that you've been very involved in. You spent time as UN Special Representative to Haiti for multiple years while MINUSTA has been there, helping build up the Haiti National Police and involved in a lot of other activities. I was wondering, the UN presence has gone through its fair bit of challenges and successes in Haiti, especially given the tragic earthquake in 2010. And currently there are growing signs of unrest, and violent crime seems to be on the increase in Haiti. And I was wondering, are you optimistic that the UN will be able to leave behind a positive legacy in there?
Well, we've had many success stories in many other places around the world. Certainly now in Timor, we're closing down our mission on the 31st of December because we have accomplished what the Security Council requested us to do there. And we've closed down our mission in Burundi or in Sierra Leone. We're downsizing in other places around the world. So it depends very much on the host government and the partnership we have with the local authorities. In Haiti, I think that there's been a very positive evolution, and everything was going pretty well until the earthquake of January 2010, and that brought the country back, several decades, I think. And now it's a matter of rebuilding, not only physically, but also the institutions of Haiti. And this is where we're having some trouble. I think that we are also downsizing in Haiti. There's no need to have such a large military force, and we're replacing that military force with more police contingent because there's no internal military threat in Haiti. Haiti, very different from other countries around the world or where there is conflict. There's no ethnic conflict, there's no religious conflict, there's no conflict for natural resources. So it's more like a policing problem in many ways of common criminality. So we're replacing troops now with more police elements and continuing to build the capacities of the Haitian National Police, which ultimately has the responsibility for keeping safe and order and stability in that country. But the trend has been positive. The building up of those capacities are there. The problem we have in Haiti is, again, a political one. And the president doesn't have a majority in parliament, and the divisions and the clashes and the conflicts there are very much present. So hopefully this will be resolved in order to advance in all these other issues.
Great.